My name's Marie and I'm from Cheshunt. I'm 41 years old. I live on my own in Cheshunt. So I had a gastric sleeve operation in Istanbul in Turkey on the 2nd of January 2023. So my emotions, I turned to food a lot for my emotions. I was unhappy, I would eat. If I was excited, I would eat. And I got to the point where I had this relationship with food and I didn't know how to come out of it. And I went to New York last October for my 40th birthday and the photos came back and I was like, wow, I didn't realise how big I was. I think when you stand up and you're dressed and you look down at yourself, you don't see how big you actually are. And then these photos come back, even back photos of me walking through Central Park. I was just so amazed at how big I actually was. And I thought then, I've got to do something about it. I flew home on the 29th. The photos came out a couple of days later. And then by the 12th of November, I'd booked my flight and my operation to Istanbul. And I knew I had to go through with it. I couldn't back out. I'd always, in the back of my head, I think over the last couple of years, I've always thought about it because I knew people that had had the operation and was a success. Some lost weight more than others. But I knew I had to do something drastic to myself to be happy again, because I wasn't happy. So the day of my operation I was 15.8, which was highly obese for me, for my height and my age. NHS provided for free as long as you are a certain weight. You have to be really, I thought I was really big. Since having the operation and speaking to other people, I wasn't nowhere near as big as some people, but the NHS will only give it to you if you're, like, this is really hard to say in the words to put it in, but I think you've got to be like 18 and stone and over. Plus, you have to tick certain criteria for the NHS, different health problems, and also as well, if you don't tick those boxes, it was about £10,000 to have it here. So I researched a lot on the internet before booking the operation, and a clinic centre was the one that was offering the benefits. So I had the Aftercare, which was really important for me because I am a worrier and I do suffer with anxiety. So I needed to know that there was somebody that I could check in with. Obviously a checkup after the operation as well, and obviously the care that I received throughout. I didn't just want to go and have the operation and then I was just left. The clinic centre looked after me before the operation, during the operation, after the operation, and when I got home. And that's what I was looking for, a package. Yeah, so I'm mentally prepared myself. I'm not very good at being put to sleep or having operations. I suffer a lot with anxiety. I think all sorts in my head. I think if you're going to put me to sleep, I'm not going to wake up on the other side. So obviously I had to mentally prepare for that. I had a lot of talks with friends and family to prepare me for the operation, and obviously when I got to Turkey and before, I asked a lot of questions to put my mind at ease. So the hardest part of my journey was mentally preparing myself, travelling to the airport, leaving my home initially. So from the morning I left my home, I had to go and pick my friend up to go to the airport. I left here, I locked my door, and the tears were streaming. I was crying. I cried all the way in the car to my friend's house, which is 10 minutes up the road. I then got outside her house and I told myself to fix up. Didn't even tell her that I cried. I just smiled when she got in the car, drove to the airport, and then obviously getting on the plane and obviously arriving in Turkey, and then just the waiting game, waiting to go down for the operation was the hardest part for me. I didn't actually tell my son about the operation. I didn't want to worry him. because I've only got one child, and obviously he means the world to me. And obviously when I landed back at London Stansted, the first person I wanted to see was my son. So I actually texted him and said, "Where are you?" And he was not far away, and I said, "Can you come home?" I said, "I need to speak to you." So when he arrived outside, my sister was just leaving, and he said, "What's wrong with Mum?" He wanted to know what was wrong with Mum. And my sister was like, "It's not my story to tell, you need to go in and see your mum." So he walked in, and it still emotionally gets me now, but he walked in and he said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I'm fine." I said, "I've just landed from Turkey, I've had weight loss surgery." And he literally hugged me and he said, "I'm so proud of you." And I'll never forget that moment, ever. Sorry.
You, my girl, are going to be skinny. That's it, you tell yourself you're going to be skinny.
So day one, I woke up in the hotel, and I had to be at the hospital at 7 a.m. and it was full of tests, pre-op tests, which are so thorough. Like, I was anxious about a lot of things, like leaving England and obviously going there, and the questions I asked, like, they literally done a full body scan, literally blood tests, you name it, they done the test, just to make sure that you're feasible for the operation, you've got no underlying health conditions. Any questions I had, they answered me straight away. But I literally woke up in the room, back in my hospital room. I don't remember leaving the surgery ward, I don't remember anything. I remember waking up, my friend was there with her mother-in-law, and I was fine. I had obviously my pads on me, my drainage, I was fine, I felt fine. Everyone said there was going to be a lot of pain, like all the reviews that you read, so I was expecting so much pain, but I mean, there was a little bit of pain, but I mean, not overly lots. I was fine, but they let me sleep. They kept bringing me, obviously after the operation you have to have like little drinks, because that's like your food. So they just kept coming in, making sure I was okay, checking they just observed me the whole time. They were so good. So they say that like recovery is like 2 weeks, but I think that, yeah, I think you do need the 2 weeks. So my surgeon said to me 1 week off work from when you land, but I should have probably took 2 weeks. So you have a week for your operation, your pre-op, your operation, and obviously coming home, and then a week at home to recover. But I think you should have a 3rd week. So the relationship with the food before the surgery was, I literally was emotionally attached to food. So if I was sad, I would eat. If I was excited, I would eat. Afterwards, I would say that because I knew I couldn't eat, I didn't eat. So I emotionally detached myself from the food mentally, and I prepared myself for that. So I knew that my last meal was going to be at the airport. I'd mentally prepared myself for that. And I knew that I wouldn't be able to eat, and I think I knew it wasn't safe to eat, so I think that helped a lot. So a dietitian comes into the hospital and goes through everything with you before you leave. So I had like a week 1, week 2, up to week 8. So I knew what I should be eating. So I knew that on week 1 it was just liquid, week 2 was liquid. By week 3 I could have soup, like blended soup. So my friend and my mum made me like chicken blended soup in a pan, and they stored it in the freezer for me. So about 2 or 3 times a day I would take the soup out and eat it. So I had to walk an hour a day from the moment I got home. It started off with like 15 minutes, half an hour, up to an hour, but the dietitian they like you to move and exercise straight away, not just stay stationary. Amazing. I can't fault the clinic centre at all. The lady for the aftercare checked in with me all the time. She obviously helped me more with my meal planning, because she was more like of a dietitian. So they helped me with vitamins, the vitamin drinks as well to take. Any questions I had, she answered straight away for me. My confidence has increased a lot. to the point where I didn't have a boyfriend for 12 years because I was so unhappy within myself. And this year, due to the weight loss, I've met my boyfriend Adam, and he makes me feel fantastic anyway. So yeah, the confidence has increased, but I think without the operation I probably wouldn't have gone and met him and got with him. I think I was so unhappy within myself that I didn't want anyone to see me without any clothes on, etc. But now I'm quite happy to do that. I hesitated for 2 years. I could have been a lot slimmer a lot sooner. But if you're thinking about it, go with the clinic centre. You've got a lot of companies out there that are advertising the same sort of package, but like Get Slim in Turkey in 5 days, I think that's the wrong advertisement, because you don't get slim in 5 days. You do get slim, but it takes a while, and it's a lot of preparation mentally, physically, and obviously you need a company that's going to give you the aftercare, and that is Clinic Centre.